What's up, Rad Potential YouTube? Welcome to the mountains at the Rad Ranch because we're now in witness protection. You now have to refer to me as Mr. Rad. I have changed my name. Everything on the Rad Potential channel moving forward from now, you must address me as such because of this top secret box right here. So you see the government showed up and said, you built a hybrid rotary engine. You are no longer allowed to do anything with it. You have to just put it in a box and put it under your workbench because it will never work. But here's what I'm going to tell you. We're throwing all that out the window. So there is one reason that I'm struggling to finish this hybrid engine install into the yellow car. So we're taking apart a perfectly good running 130.5 horsepower yellow 2004 RX8. Literally just drove this thing 150 miles this morning to run some errands. It rips. It runs good. And I'm going to tear it completely apart, and we're putting a different engine in it because of science. Because you guys, other people on the internet, parade these engines around, show them off, and we never see any results. So I'm going to blow this engine up, or we're going to make some horsepower in the process. That's the whole goal. But the hardest part, I have been one part, just one part away from finishing or having everything here to be able to install this engine for approximately 3 months. There's literally only one special thing about this entire hybrid RX8, RX7 engine. It's literally a Renesis with GSLSC housings. It's not that special. Easy parts to find. The only special part is this. We have 5 exhaust ports, and we're going to go through some science in this video about this exhaust where I need your guys' help, so stay tuned for that. But the one piece that I need, and I just can't seem to get, is the Renesis exhaust hybrid flange here, the one that has 5 holes in it. It's one giant piece of billet stainless or mild steel, machined out, cut out on a laser. However they do it, there is 3 of them available on the internet, and I have ordered all 3 of them. I started the process of building this hybrid literally in January. I hopped on to one of the most well-renowned Mazda parts internet websites, and I ordered the parts I needed to be able to stack this engine up. Brand new corner seals, brand new side seals, new springs, new side seal springs, apex seal springs. We hopped on to power seals and got the power seals ordered. All that stuff showed up. In addition, I ordered the hybrid exhaust flange literally in January. It was in stock on the website. Get an email. It's out of stock. We're waiting on the machine shop to finish them up. We'll have them out to you as soon as we possibly can. Okay, no big deal. Still working on the 4-rotor. We're just trying to get ahead, right? In this game of putting things together for your automobile, getting parts is hard. A couple months go by, still haven't heard from them. Email them back. Hey, it's still taking longer than we thought. I don't have a hybrid exhaust flange. So at that time, I hop on the internet, hybrid exhaust flange, go down the list, find another billet stainless one that looks the exact same. I email the guy selling it. He says, yeah, I have one in stock. I can ship it out to you next week. I order it. Boom, crickets, ghosted. Never heard from him again. Still don't have a hybrid exhaust flange. I ordered that one 2 months ago. About 6 weeks. So we're sitting here, y'all complaining in the comments, put the hybrid together. Why haven't you started on the hybrid project? Are you in witness protection yet? Well, I can tell you, I might be in witness protection, but I'm going to bust out of witness protection and we're putting this thing together regardless of what happens. So that hybrid exhaust flange fell through. Still haven't heard from him. I hop online again about 2-3 weeks ago. Yeah, can't trust any of these guys out here. Find another shop, email them. They've got them in stock. Order it. It's finally getting shipped out this week. Can confirm at least one hybrid flange is going to show up here of the 3 I ordered. So literally, we have 1 pair of seats worth of money invested in this RX8. Okay, 1 pair of RX8 seats. You do the math. Google how much RX8 seats cost. They're not that expensive, okay? I spent $1,000 total on getting hybrid exhaust flanges here so that I can build this car for you guys. So at a minimum, my request for you, share these videos with your friends, comment, like, subscribe, tell me what I'm doing wrong, tell me what I'm doing right, help me build this car because I'm doing everything in my power to try to get this done, but everything else is just forcing this to not happen. So hopefully the hybrid flange shows up and doesn't get lost in the mail, and we'll be able to push this project along, and I will take apart my perfectly good running car just for you guys. But now, let's look at some science, because we have to figure out, ideally, this flange shows up, we have to build an exhaust. And the exhaust is probably one of the most important parts to making this hybrid work and to make it make effective and efficient horsepower and not be fighting itself. All right, so let me just erase this previous iteration of the drawing because it looked terrible. And we're going to draw something here. So the hybrid, we have 5 exhaust ports. Big circle here, Siamese port in the middle, big circle here, big circle here. The fancy hybrid flanges turn squares into circles. It's super rad. That's ideally the one that shows up in time. If the one that's just a plate with square holes and circles in it shows up, then this is going to be a little bit trickier. A typical rotary engine takes everything from one rotor, puts it in an exhaust port, takes everything from the other rotor and puts it into the exhaust port. They are separate. You then run those runners, your calculated length, you mix them under the car, magic happens, we get flames and stuff out the back of a car. On a Renesis, the center iron has 2 exhaust ports in it that now share an exit. So, the rear rotor, rear iron, rear housing, those 2 will be collected fairly quickly and then go out under the car. This blue marker is dying, like my college professor. He would just wing it across the classroom and hopefully it went in the trash can. We'll grab another one. So, these 2 collect here and would go out. The center port, we got to figure out what we're going to do with that. And then the front rotor, front iron, front housing will collect into one tube and go out. The reason we can collect these in a short manner, I believe, so I don't think I need to build like a 5-into-1 collector here. I think I can do a 2-into-1, a 2-into-1, and then a 3-into-1 collector setup, or divide this, collect them. It's because the rear iron and the rear housing are going to share the same exhaust pulse because they're coming from the same rotor. So we're going to combine those shortly, run them out the back, much like you would just have a regular header on your NA 12A or something, right? Same with the front. The center, however, because it mixes the 2, the front and rear rotor together, is going to cause all sorts of crazy turbulence in this tube before we get to our 3 collectors down here, and we want to collect all of that into one. I have a couple thoughts, and I alluded to this earlier in the project, is that I'd like to try to divide this and maybe have 2 tubes coming out of it. Tubes. Such that we can not have all of this turbulent mix-up exhaust pulses in our header. So 2-to-1 to 3-to-1, maybe. 2-to-1 to 2 to then we have a 4-to-1. Who knows? 2-to-1 to 2 to 1 to 3-to-1. I don't know. Science. I hope y'all are following. But in addition to this, we have to decide on the length of these runners. So let's look at some old headers and look at this RX8 and see how long we need to make these to make the most efficient use of scavenging, rotor pulsing, reverberation, all of that. I definitely don't claim to be a super scientist when it comes to understanding exhaust pulses and why different race teams and different companies design headers the way they do, but I understand enough to be dangerous. So basically, we want to look at the length of our header to where we're collecting the exhaust together. This header is from a Racing Beach Street Port exhaust system, okay? It would be separate runners all the way from the engine to basically right in front of the axle on a first-gen RX-7. They would collect at the back of the axle. This is a long collector system. Remember that. This is, I believe, a Racing Beat road race exhaust. I think this is actually for like a rotary truck or something and not for a first gen. But you can see here, flange, collector, much shorter. This one, approximately 25 inches. Short collector exhaust design. I've put a chart up on the screen now to show you Racing Beat's science on designing short versus long collectors for different engine styles. Engine style being peripheral port, Bridgeport, street port, 13B, 12A, different carburetor, stock carburetor, etc. It's old data, but we can learn from it. The short collector systems, the reason they're collecting that short is because it's coming on the first or second pulse wave as the exhaust gas is coming out of the engine, to my understanding. So what's happening is Rotor 1 fires, rotor 2 fires, rotor 1 fires, rotor 2 fires. You have equal length. They come in. When they combine, it sends a wave back to the engine. And you want to time the collector such that you can get that wave to come back to the engine, which then helps with scavenging, back pressure, and all of that. If you miss the timing of that, then you just are losing out on exhaust efficiency. So short system, second wave. Long system is the fourth wave. So the timing is, 1 pulse, 2 pulse, 3 pulse, 4 pulse, bam, bam, bam. There's different resonances. So the first resonance, short, second resonance, short, third resonance, we're getting longer, fourth resonance, we're really long. You can also collect back at the axle to then send that wave back to have an effective long tube header length. For example, the 4-rotor headers pretty much go to the very back of the transmission. They're very, very long. Now, Racing Beats data probably doesn't apply to a 4-rotor, thus the science and the waves and the speed of the exhaust and the speed of sound and all of that stuff magic, Einstein math happens, and it comes back up to the engine to be effective, and that's what Logan at Defined AutoWorks had figured out that works the best, building through different iterations. So we're going to do that on the RX8, but I want to look at a couple things. If you think about the stock RX8 engine sits pretty much at the base of the back of the hood. So this right here, this green line, that is going to be the center line of our engine. So the short collector, if we're looking at Mazda's chart for a Bridgeport engine, was approximately, let's say, 15 to 20 inches. I think it's somewhere in that range. Y'all can correct me because I put it on and I'm not looking at the data. I didn't write it on my hand and sheet for this video. But I measured that off. We'll say 15 to 20 inches. We're at about the mirror. So from that green line to that green line would be the length of how long I want to run, approximately equal length tubes and stuff, the distance where I would put my 3-into-1 collector. Or if we look at the long version for Bridgeport, I think it's like 118 inches. Literally that is back here at the start of the trunk. So we would be running individual runners to this point at the mirror or all the way to the back. Now, which one of these is going to be more RX8 friendly? Reason I say, what do RX8 owners have? Not a ton of money. You know how much stainless it's going to take to get all the way back to there to make 3 separate runners all the way that long, and all the time it's going to take me to weld that? Pretty freaking long. So I think we're going to steer more towards a short one. So what I want to do, and what I want y'all's comments on, anybody who's done exhaust tuning on their car, tried different headers out, measured the power, let me know what you think in the comments for how long I should make this header. I think the Speed Source guys, when they were racing RX8s back in the day, I think we're running 30 inches. Is what they found, and that was just on a Renesis. So they're 30-inch collector, 3 separate tubes, and that's giving them the best balance for that Siamese shared turbulent crazy port in the center. Now, if I can figure out a way to divide that and make it survive, then we can probably collect all 6 now, right, ports at the engine, merge them together, and then do 2 long primaries as long as we can go. So the diameter of these does matter. These are all 1.8 inches, I believe, or 1.7 inches from Racing Beat. So basically 1 3/4 primary, which is pretty big. But the flange I've ordered is going to be 1.5 inch tubing coming off of each port. So it would be 1.5 inch. The center one would be like some weird steel plate with 2 tubes welded in it to merge. And I don't know. I think it's going to be pretty tricky, but I'm excited to try to build it. But ultimately, the exhaust, the header, literally is the reason that I believe most people don't ever finish their hybrid builds, is because they get intimidated or they can't do the fabrication. There's no off-the-shelf header to buy, and you have to make something. And, as much as what's crazy in the car scene these days, custom one-off stuff is kind of hard to build or get. So I'm excited to build it. The next time you see this thing, guys, I promise I'll be taking it apart, but I'm not going to have another hybrid crazy video until I get the parts to take this apart. So you guys also need to go out there and convince more people to make hybrid parts. Or I guess I'll prove that it works, and then we'll go convince them to make hybrid parts. So with that, that's my why the hybrid won't work and why I'm in witness protection rant. Welcome to the mountains at the Rad Ranch. We have now apparated or teleported somewhere. You guys have no idea where we're at. This is Secret Project Area 52 stuff. Welcome to top secret, classified RadWorks projects. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully I get my flanges soon. Literally, I could have bought 3 of these cars for how much I've spent on flanges. Hopefully we get this thing done. Thanks for watching. Keep it rad. We'll see you in the next one. Oh yeah, and make sure to comment below, like the video. Go check out Patreon. If you check out Patreon, you get to see what's happening in this corner over here. This is the now RadWorks corner, the Secret Projects corner. You see the 4-rotor chilling over here, but I can't show you much. I can't show you much more than that. And then I'll take you over here into the engine room and show you the engine for the Secret Project, even though it's not like that super secret. I'll set you down right there. Little end of the video science. How about this? Look at that. Chips Motorsports rotor. RIP Chips Motorsports, but sick parts nonetheless. And then check this out. Look at that. This is the land of Bridgeports. The land. Port everything. Or done. Peace, guys. Go check out the Patreon.